Hi, Dr. Patrick Gentempo here, and thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel. We have great content in store for you. I'm so excited to be here with you, and let's jump right into it.
Which is the importance of education. So my poor dad and my rich dad, growing up in a little town called Hilo, Hawaii, they didn't like each other. You know, one was a socialist and one was a capitalist. And they don't see eye to eye. And you see it going on today hardcore because this guy Biden and Kamala, I'm not political, but, I believe in freedom of choice. So you want to be a communist, be a communist. You want to be a socialist, be a socialist. I'm a capitalist. And a capitalist, which is rich dad, poor dad. My rich dad was a capitalist. My poor dad was a hardcore Marxist, but he didn't know it. And the reason my poor dad didn't know he was a Marxist is because we don't study Marxism in school. But they teach Marxism. They don't know it. And it's just ignorance. And it's not bad people or good people. So going to military school in New York, I had nominations to Naval Academy, Air Force Academy. I didn't want to go to West Point, but I wanted to go to Kings Point because Kings Point were the highest paid graduates in the world. So Kings Point is a federal school. It's a U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, and we're the highest paid graduates in the world. So in 1965, being a little capitalist, I said, if I'm going to go to school, why not go to where they're paying the most? So I went to Kings Point, and it's a military school. And the education is different. So the first word we're taught in military school is mission. What is your mission? The next words are duty, honor, courage, discipline, integrity. That's what we're taught. And then I attended, I went from my MBA program after I was out of the Marine Corps. And they teach you critical race theory, gender identity. I'm going, que pasa? Trigger zones. I'm a Marine. I am a psycho Marine. What the hell are we teaching? So that's kind of my whole background. And so that's my way of setting it up. I'm releasing a book called The Capitalist Manifesto in a few months. And it goes back to that military word parabellum. Parabellum means, and we're taught this in military school, if you want peace, prepare for war. That's what parabellum means. So a capitalist manifesto is for people who are preparing for war, because America is becoming socialist and Marxist, but we don't know it because we're not taught the difference between fascism, socialism, communism. We don't know. And when you look at the reason Biden is a communist is because what Marx said, if you want to destroy capitalism, tax people. So he's raising taxes. And what Lenin said, if you want to destroy capitalism, debauch the currency. And that's what we did in 1971 when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. So that's kind of my study. I'm a politically incorrect former U.S. Marine who is parabellum. I'm always prepared for war. And so today I'm richer and richer and richer because I prepared for this time.
Well, I did not know the definition of parabellum,
Yeah.
but many of us are waking up and looking around and going, wait a minute, something happened while I was dozing. A takeover has happened that was both slow and rapid. And now, the definition, by definition, being prepared has to come in advance. And so some of us, are not prepared, and we're certainly not prepared for war. So because you've been saying pretty much the same thing for 25 years, what advice do you have for those of us that are slow to the party and preparation in all its phase, from what do we do to protect our money, that what are the moves that you're suggesting to people?
So how can a person prepare is to study. Rich dad, poor dad is capitalist education versus communist education. That's all it is. And most people don't study. They read, but they're not studying. They watch TV, but don't study. I study. You know, as a pilot, my education went, I was at Camp Pendleton getting ready to go to Vietnam. Man, I had to study 10 times harder because when you're going into battle, you've got to be smarter. So that was what I learned with the discipline of the military. And most people study, they go to school, they have a college degree. But as I've always asked, what did school teach you about money? That flatline, you know. Well, that meant capitalism is evil. You know, the love of money is the root of all evil. You know, that's what they've learned. And it's in their heads. So the first thing you got to understand is that when I was in I went to Vietnam in January 1972, my second tour. And that's when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard on August 15th, 1971. When that happened, I understood what Lenin said. If you want to destroy capitalism, debauch the currency. So here was my college education, academy education coming to life. And what most people don't realize is what Nixon did when he took the dollar off the gold standard. The US dollar became fake money, fiat money. And historically, no fiat currency has ever survived. So, you know, your title is the end game. We're in the end game. We're in the end game of the American Republic because we're no longer a democracy. We're no longer a republic, you know. We've become a socialist state. And I'm not blaming Biden or Kamala, you know, they're just puppets.
Well, against this backdrop, you know, especially, you know, and let's stay with currency, what does somebody do who wants to protect themselves knowing that the currency they have is losing value at a rapid rate?
Well, as I said in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, number one, savers are losers. You know, I got trashed for that one. Oh God, because saving is like a religion, you know, to most of these communists. They don't know the difference. And these academic elites, you know, you got to save money. Other thing too is I use debt as money. And there's a lot of these good Christians, they say, well, you know, debt is evil, live debt free. And fact is, most people should, because debt is like a loaded gun. It can make you rich, it can also kill you. So just like being a pilot in Vietnam, if you're going to use debt, you better study it. And the other thing I said, your house is not an asset, and that goes to financial literacy. You know, a house can be an asset or a liability, depending on how it's used. So it's study. And as I said earlier, no fiat currency has ever survived. So when I was flying in Vietnam and I saw Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, I went looking for gold. So I bought my first gold behind enemy lines in Vietnam. And the reason it was behind enemy lines was because the NVA, North Vietnamese Army, and the Viet Cong had overrun the position. And the gold mine was behind enemy lines. So I covered this in my book coming up, Capitalist Manifesto. That's how much I want my freedom. I'm willing to go behind enemy lines and buy gold. And so I finally went to Hong Kong. I bought my Kruger Rand there for 50 bucks, you know. But I started buying silver back in 1964 when I was 17 years old. So I had a whole stash of silver coins, you know, dimes, quarters, and half dollars. And I would go, when I was 17, I'd go to the bank, I'd caddy, you know, I'd make some money. And I get my money, and I go to my bank, my friend's bank, my neighbor's bank. I'd get rolls of dimes, quarters, and half dollars. And I'd pull out all the coins that had that copper tinge around it. The copper tinge was debasing the currency. And the Romans did it, their empire went down when they debased the currency. They put base metals into it, like this one, in this case, copper. So when I saw that, that was Gresham's law. And Gresham's law states that when when bad money enters circulation, good money goes into hiding. So I was just following Gresham's law as a 17-year-old kid. And I see this whole bag full of real dimes, quarters, and half dollars. So then I was 64, 65, I go off to school in New York. And I come home and I said, what happened to my bag of my money? and my mom spent it. So, Jeff, that's one of the biggest lessons of all, is that poor people don't know the difference between real money and fake money.
Thanks so much for being here and watching that video. And can I ask you to please subscribe to our channel so you can find out when we're posting new content. You'll be alerted right away when we do. To share this with people you think might benefit from the information, and certainly it helps us if you like the video. So if you like what you just saw, go ahead and hit that like button. And again, thank you so much for being here with me right now.